gentlemen, good afternoon. Hello and welcome in to episode number 79 of Clark After Dark right here. You guessed it, folks. We're live and direct on RaceON.com. Looking forward to a great weekend of racing action here in the Arco, Texas. Seeing just about everybody and their mamas racing this weekend. Of course, got Cortland Smith on the other end of this, baby, and we're ready to rock and roll tonight. We've got a great guest to join us tonight here. Again, on episode number 79 of Clark After Dark. Mother Nature, she reared her ugly head this past week, and seems like the only track in the state of Louisiana, as it was the Sabine Speedway down in Manny. Shane Hebert's been doing a phenomenal job down there. We'll get into the happenings and what went down and the results and so forth from down in Sabine this past Friday night. Of course, the Michigan Wolverines are your new NCAA basketball national champions. Nobody came here to learn that, but now you know. Good stuff going on all throughout the country this weekend. Of course, both national tours are all passed this past weekend, so really not a whole lot of racing to talk about. So a great night to have a guest, as I'll bring on my co-host of this podcast now. He's from Alexandria, Louisiana. That's my man, Cortland Smith. Cortland, how we doing tonight, big dog?
We're Livin, my man. Like you said, wasn't the most racing in the world to watch this past weekend, but still some good racing to watch, right? So we're getting in that and that funky part of the year. I know everybody hates to say it, but that R word lingers around its ugly head every once in a while right now in this part of the year. You know, spring showers bring May flowers. So got to get through this rough part, you know, hopefully not too rough for nobody, but get through this wetter part of the year, and then we'll be rocking and roaring. But still, like you said, whether we didn't race a whole lot last weekend, by old golly, does it seem like every place and their mama's racing this weekend, right? So you got places all over the country racing, a bunch of places on the RaceON platforms racing this weekend. So ready to get it hitting hot and heavy here.
Absolutely, we are. Real quick, before we bring our guest on tonight, number 79 tonight, episode number 79, and I got a few for you. How about Jimmy Humphreys? Used to race limited modifieds at Boot Hill and Arclatex back in the day. I remember Rollo drove his car maybe a time or two, and really got the good out of that 79 car. I'm not sure if people remember Jimmy, but that 79 car was pretty quick. Randall Settle raced a 79 car kind of sparingly. Of course, he's been R21 for the majority of his career, but had a number 79 car there. And how about 60-year-old racer Gary Parker from Flint, Texas? Drives the number 79 stock car over at Rocket. And I got a good one for you tonight, Cortland Smith. How about the number 79 is winless? It's a winless number in the NASCAR series. In the history of NASCAR, the number 79 has never went to victory lane. And I found that to be pretty interesting because the 79 number does have over 475 starts in NASCAR history, and primarily by independent driver / mechanic Frank Warren. He drove a Dodge. He drove He drove it for 348 of his 396 career NASCAR starts between 1963 and 1980s. For all the old heads that listen to this podcast, that one's for you, Mr. Frank Warren in a Dodge, because I'll tell you right now, I had no clue who Frank Warren was until about 35 minutes ago. But happy to learn new stuff all the time, right? Like, it's always fun to learn. And shout out to the 79, man. Who you got tonight?
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I had to scratch my head on this one. The first one that came to mind that was kind of easy was the 79 Billy Hicks racing, right? Whether it's Ross Bales, Donald McIntosh. They had the little carousel of seats earlier this year in Speed Weeks when everybody seemed to swap rides that day, right? But Billy Hicks racing in the 79, and I promise you, we'll get halfway through the show and another one will pop up in my head. But for right now, that's all I got is the Billy Hicks racing number 79. Man, always been a stout team up there on the East Coast, Southeast region, and supported a lot of rides for a lot of great guys. So Billy Hicks Racing, shout out to you, my friend, and the 79 numbers always being riding along the doors.
Well, they've had Donald McIntosh in that car this year. They had Corey Hedgecock in that car, and one other guy. Like, it's been musical chairs for the Billy Hicks 79 car on the Louisville Late Model Series this year. But
I think Jeremy Steele's driving it now. Yeah, I think Jeremy Steele's driving it now. I think, something like that, I believe. So I may be wrong. I may be completely wrong on that. I didn't do too much research, but I was sitting there trying to think of 79s all day long, and that's the first one. And Jeremy Steele, I believe, is driving it now. So I think they've done had four rear ends sitting in the driver's seat of that ride. So that's something interesting to talk about. And we're only in the 4th month of the year.
Absolutely. Folks, I don't want to waste any more time. I'm going to bring on our guest tonight. I believe he's our first full-time B-Mod racer. I'm fired up to have him tonight. He's 25-year-old racer out of Bullard, Texas. It's my man, Boone Evans. Boone Evans, how we doing tonight, big dog?
Man, we're doing good, man. I thank y'all a bunch for having me on.
Man, we're excited to have you. I don't even know how you have time to do this podcast. And granted, I know they don't race on Tuesday nights, but if they were, we know you'd have been booked because I was going through, listen, like, I want to get this out of the way early here, and we'll get into some more stuff about you personally, Boone, and like what makes you drive, what makes you tick, and like what that competitive edge that you have as a driver. But I was just looking over some stats and some things, and I messaged Cortland this earlier. I was just blown away, just staggering numbers that you put out. Now, I know you'd like a lot of these starts to result in wins, but we know that this is why they call it racing. It's not called winning. But, dude, since 2020, Boone Evans, you have 423 starts. And that, let's say that's an unlimited modified, a stock car, a factory stock, that I already mentioned, a B mod. What else am I missing on that list out of those four? What else have you driven that I'm not aware of? Have you driven a crate yet or no?
No, maybe a open mod. Other than that, yeah, B mod, stock car, factory stock, limited. I mean, a little bit of everything, man.
Yeah, well, just really impressed. So I was messaging Cortland last night, and I was like, "Man, who could we have on the pod?" And he didn't even hesitate. He said, "Boone Evans." I said, "Dude, that's a great one." And he said because the dude's already raced 8 times, and we're only in the first weekend of April. No, I'm sorry, you've raced 22
8
times
tracks.
already this year. Yeah, you've raced at
Yeah.
8 different tracks. You have 22 starts this year. My question to you is, as we start this podcast off again, we'll get into some other stuff later. I just want to know, like, how do you decide when and where you're going to race? Because I know for the factory stock, right, you drive for Jason Hood, and for the stuff for you and your dad, that's kind of your own little program there. But kind of how do you decide when and where you're going to race?
Man, really, like this year, we're really going to focus on following that All Star deal with Jason Hood's car. So wherever he ever wants to go, racing that factory stock, we go. He he works. So sometimes it's like 2 weeks on, 1 week off, or vice versa. So we kind of have to base our schedule around that. But we're going to try and hit all the All Star stuff. Of course, we want to take the B mod everywhere. You know, that's one of my most favorite cars to drive for sure. But then we pop out sometimes in a limited, you know, going to Waco and Kennedale 2 weekends ago and stuff like that. So we really just kind of base it around where we think we're going to do the best and perform the best and be the fastest at. But at the same time, we want to also race the best competition and be the best. So that's all it is, really.
I messaged Cortland to a couple weeks. I said this Boone Evans just popped up at Heart of Texas last night, like down in Waco. It's not like very often that our Arklatex, like we don't necessarily sure we have adopted you as an Arklatex guy because you are like you're an Arklatex regional guy. But the
Yes,
thing
sir.
is I feel like you travel more than anybody else out of this area. And I was kind of wondering, is that kind of what you were doing back when you moved up you were playing college baseball like McPherson a few years ago? And you were just trying to find any given racetrack you could find. Like you had 3 or 4 different racetracks you would frequent up there each and every Friday and Saturday night. I feel like ever since that time, like you haven't let up a tick. Like you are after it every single weekend.
Yeah, yeah. It was also to my dad, man. Like when I was growing up racing, started in a factory stock, and then limiteds were always that big. So he had a limited at the time, I did, and he always told me, he said, "Listen, we're gonna go race the best. We're gonna go to Boot Hill. We're gonna go to all them big racetracks, Architects. We're gonna race the best, so you can learn how to, you know, race around the best." And it was just always, we're going to go to different racetracks. We're not going to stay devoted to one, this, that, and the other. And I think that's really what's made me the race car driver I am now. Just being so diverse and racing on so many different racing surfaces and tracks, and moving to Kansas and building a stock car and racing up there and racing on totally different racetracks, bigger racetracks up there. And man, my driving just coming back from Kansas and growing up around the Architects area just started to just get better and better. And I think it was just because we were racing against the best and we weren't just racing the same tracks every weekend. We're always somewhere else different. So I think that's really what's turned me into the race car driver I am today. And I'm really thankful for it, really.
Boone, you talk about all those racetracks you've been to. What would be like 2 or 3 key things that you say makes this Arklatex region different from everywhere else, right? Like this Manny, Boot Hill, Arklatex, this, you know, the Arklatex, that core 4 or 5 tracks. What makes that so much different from everywhere else?
Man, I hate to say it, but down here in the South, man, we got way better race car drivers. I mean, even when I moved up north and played baseball and raced around a bunch of great guys that drove stock cars. But when I come home, man, I came home about 2 years ago. It's a lot harder to win. We got really good race car drivers in the Architects area, and we have really good racetracks too is another. It just makes it a whole lot harder to win, man. I mean, we got hundreds of great race car drivers down here. I believe in, and it's just different down here, man. It's more wide open, more hard racing, and it's just it's a great place to grow up and especially learn how to race.
All right, so you can't say Rocket. What is your favorite racetrack to race on?
It's probably Boot Hill.
Boot Hill. What about
Yes,
Boot
sir.
Hill
Boot
was to
Hill.
your liking?
Man, after Rollo and them moved that backstretch wall, man, the racing's gotten great. Especially with these B mods and stuff. We can just more wide open, running their way harder going in turn three. It just puts on a way better show. And they've done a fantastic job at that place, man. I mean, it's hands down to Bubba and Rollo. They have worked their butts off that place. And so, of course, my dad and Rollo. I mean, I grew up around Rollo and everything, so I almost feel bad not going there. But I like to go there because that's the best. I mean, I don't know how many people might want to argue that, but when you go to Boot Hill and win one, that that really means something because if you win one at Boot Hill, you can go around a bunch of these other tracks and probably win too. So winning one at Boot Hill is something almost to brag about for sure.
Put a staple on that, on any Boot Hill win, right? Explain. I got one more question for that. I toss you back over to Zach. I love that you mentioned moving that backstretch back, right? So you raced on it with the configuration where the backstretch was in. Now it's moved back. Really describe the difference to the listeners here. Describe how much of a difference that really makes, even though it was probably only what 3 or 4 foot. Describe how much of a difference that really makes in that racetrack and how the angles and everything's changed.
Yes, sir. It really widened the racetrack out. It really makes us capable to carry more speed into turn three. Where more turn three and four is kind of not more hairpin, but just not where you can kind of swoop out coming out of two and kind of let your car breathe and go into three with a lot more momentum, I guess. So it made it a lot more racy, I believe. And even putting a wall around it. And what's great about Boot Hill too, it's always going to be smooth and it's always going to be racy, and you're always going to have great race car drivers there. So we really enjoy going over there.
Speaking of Boot Hill, right? You mentioned you're going to run this race on All Star Challenge. Of course, the 30,000 is not actually a part of the points deal, but we know you'll be there. I would assume driving the Jason Hood. Is that 429? It is 429, right?
Yeah.
You've had them
Yes, sir.
triple digits, like the little four, the little junior on the side, right? But even when you're driving for a David in
Yes,
the
sir.
457 car, right? I love the triple digits. Like they look good when they're out there whistling Dixie, but that's just me. I don't know. I'm always a big fan of the triple digits all day. Um, but I want to ask you, like, what's the confidence level right now in the factory? Right, you just sold your white four car to Michael Knighton. I'm pretty sure y'all cut him a really good deal on that because I don't think he was planning to get back behind the saddle anytime soon. And I think his wife wanted. I think Courtney wanted Michael to race more than he did. But now Dylan and the whole Knighton family's back, so I thought that was really cool. Y'all saw him in the car, and I figured y'all must have cut him a pretty good deal on that. But not to talk about that necessarily. What's the confidence level like? You won at Heart of Texas in that Hood car just a couple of weeks ago on Friday night. And I don't know that Heart of Texas and Boot Hill have any similarities. They're both tight kind of bull rings. I think Heart's probably a little bit more banked. But what's the confidence level like going into this 30,000 win? And man, how excited are you to be able to race for that kind of money once again this year?
Dude, I feel really good about it, man. Jason Hood's got me in a hot rod. And even though my car was a hot rod too, like last year at 30,000, I made the show in that car, and so yeah, we did. We hooked him up with a really good deal, and it's kind of cool now that him and his son are gonna be able to race. He's got a Sportster and whatnot, but man, Jason Hood's got me in a hot rod, dude. He works his butt off in that thing, and it proves it. I mean, we went to Waco and did pretty good, and of course won that night. Went to Kennedale the next. I think we ran third or so. But anywhere we go in that race car, man, it's fast. Like we got her pretty dialed in, and I have way more confident going into the 30,000 this year in that car than I do for sure last year. But man, we're pretty good. But that factory stock class over in the Architects area, Boot Hill, anywhere you go, it's a Duke fest, man, and I love it. I really love it. I got rid of my stock cars, so we're really focusing more on this factory stock stuff, and we're getting good. So it's definitely different. Um, especially when you race a B mod and all kinds of different stuff and jump in a factory stock. But it's so competitive, man.
It is.
It's one of the hardest classes to win in around here.
That's a perfect segue. I kind of want to mention this is you mentioned the B mod. You race a lot in the B mod, right? I think you had over 50 starts in a B mod last year and the year prior. And we'll get into more about the B mod here in a second because we love that class, and I do want to talk to you about that more in depth. But as far as like your driving style, does it translate well for you into the factory now that we're on these groove tires, right? Like the factory stocks seem to be more gripped up than ever, right? And I don't know how much that translates for you, but I would imagine a factory and a B mod drive completely different. Tell me about that from a driver's perspective. Do they drive a lot differently and how?
Yes, sir, they do. Of course, like a B mod, you're definitely got to be on the gas more, keep on the bars, and keep it turning left. Factory stock, man, they're kind of like big boats. Kind of got a hammer on them, turn left, and be wide open. Because everybody else is, and they might get a little rough, but I kind of enjoy it. It's aggressive, so that's what I like. That's how I like to race, and they're definitely way two different driving styles, no doubt. But what I also like some nights being able to race two classes is if even if I'm in my B mod before the factory or vice versa, I kind of know how the tracks is or gonna be, so
Right.
it's kind of a upper hand at times. But no, them factory stocks though, we're getting after it pretty good now since they've let us groove these tires. They're definitely a lot faster, even when I remember growing up and racing them on slicks. We're definitely getting after it more. They're definitely got more traction and definitely a lot better racing, I feel like.
So you talk about the different driving styles, Boone. What does the setups change throughout the night, right? Like some of these factory stock guys, like they may just do one spacer and call her good, fill her up with 5 gallons of gas and just let her rip. Or like, are you one of those? Or are you swinging the kitchen sink at both the B mod and the factory stock? Like what really is the program going into it, right? Like how many changes are you making on the B mod, or is the B mod just dialed and you just worry about the factory stock when you're there? What does your race night look like when you're working on both of them? We just add gas and go, or are we slinging wrenches?
Man,
Travis is slinging
it's kind
wrenches.
of funny. Travis, he ain't slinging much. He might scrape some mud. That's about it. Ask Jason Hood
Oh
about
man,
that.
leave
But
Big Dog Senior alone.
No.
man, I know.
Yeah.
He knows how
Go
to
ahead.
fill one up and scrape mud, but no, to be honest with you, since we got Jason's car so good and my Beamon, man, it's just been that IRP car. It's even from when it was a mod to now it being a B mod, it's just always been good, man. And I can't thank Gregor Muirhead either for helping me out on my B mod stuff. Man, I'm pretty dialed in. I don't really have to change much. The most we might do is some spring changes, and that might be on both the cars. But other than that, we fill them up, and like you said, a couple spacers here and there, and we got our stuff pretty good. So it's kind of makes it for an easy night when you're not just having a thrash on one. When especially now, I'm so comfortable now in Jason Hood's factory. I've kind of gotten to where I know what it needs at times or doesn't, and my B mod, I kind of know what it's going to do most of the time. So when you're in cars that long and get real comfortable, you know how they're going to react to different changes. So really, it's very minimal changes, which is really nice.
I will give a shout out to Big Dog. When I walked by at Manny, you had my boy toting 5 gallons of gas all around, and he was pouring down with sweat. And he said, "I am tired. I'm about to quit. I'm done." I think he's about to hire me on the spot to come help you that night, but I respectfully declined. But just give a shout out to Big Dog, right? Like whether like Big Dog is the big dog, right? Boone. I mean, just go ahead and talk about that because that is really cool. You and your dad going racing, man. And I know it's all in and just a fun family affair. Just talk about that for a second.
Dude, man, I almost think he loves it more than I do. Especially now, just been helping me. I think when I won my first one at Timberline, it might have been a couple races after that. When I was 14, he kind of finally hung it up, which was kind of crazy. But I think he enjoys helping me and seeing me succeed more than almost I do, which is kind of crazy. So me and him love the sport pretty equally. It's hard to explain, especially watching him. when I was growing up, from as little as I can remember, him at Thunder Mountain, Arklatex. I
Yeah.
used to remember we would race stock cars on Sundays at Arklatex. Man,
Yeah.
that was
Oh
badass
yeah.
stuff back in the day. And Arklatex was the place to be at.
It was.
And just watching him grow up, and or as I grew up watching him race, I learned a lot, and just obviously loved to, grew a love for the sport. It's a really hard thing to explain because me and him have such a bond it's uh it's unique.
It's crazy.
I love
It
everything
is.
about it, man. I really do. Like y'all are two of my favorite people I ever run into at the racetrack. I've told Cortland that. Like I love Travis
Yeah.
Evans. I mean, we love you too, Boone. But like it is like that's something I know Cortland, obviously him and his dad are very close. They race together. So I know that's something that he has a lot of respect for,
Oh,
from
yeah.
afar. So we love to see it, man. Like that's really all honestly what it's all about, right? Your relationships, friends and family. I mean, obviously we want to go out there and win, but man, I'm telling you, it probably wouldn't mean as much if your dad wasn't there with you, right? Like that's I've always found that cool. You mentioned that first win at Timberline, right? Back in 2014. I do want to circle back to that. A lot of folks, I think, don't realize that you're only 25 years old. Like, you look younger than 25, but I don't think people realize, like, Portland, can we say that Boone Evans is an 11-year veteran now? Like, I would consider you one of our,
Yeah.
I would consider you one of our elite drivers, dude. Like, I'd probably throw you in the top 5 right now of our best drivers in the Arklatex. And the thing about it, though, man, is you've earned that. And like, I really am very proud of you because I remember that very first win at Timberline in 2014. And you were only what? You were 14 years old at the time. And it was impressive because that night you beat Denny Gabar, you beat Derek Grigsby, and Justin Whitehead was in a limited that night. Adam Roy was in a limited. Aaron Roy was in a limited. Brennan Ball was in a limited that night. I mean, the list goes on and on of the field that you beat. And I remember being so impressed that night. I wish I would have sent the picture to my producer so we could have showed the fans here tonight. But you can just go search Boone or my name on Facebook and you'll be able to find it. But man, what do you
Right.
remember? Like, I just want to circle back. What do you remember about that night? Do you ever think back on it? Do you recall much? And kind of like, what are your memories at Timberline too? Right, like that was a pretty cool little joint we had there for a few years.
Right. Yeah, yeah. I actually enjoyed that track, man. And what's kind of funny is I remember that night completely. I remember I was so nervous because I knew I was starting on the pole or outside pole. I don't exactly remember, but I remember I was so nervous I almost want to throw up, and I was sitting in the staging lane. And it was kind of funny because my dad was still racing then, and I don't know, he was back there somewhere, but I got to leading it, and he actually ended up pulling in the infield and just in it watching me race or watching me win it or whatever. And I still remember to the T. I remember pulling right up there at Victory Lane, Zach, and you interviewing me, and I probably didn't even know what to say. Didn't even probably say much. And it's just kind of crazy, man. It's time flies. That was shit. That was 11 years ago. And just to see where I'm at now, I'm just not just proud of myself, but everything I've learned and everything and everybody that backs me up, man. It's crazy. It's nuts.
It is, man. It's really cool to kind of look back and circle back. Like there's a lot of memories we've gathered. We put in a lot of laps at a lot of these racetracks over the years, man. I think it's important to not ever forget. I know you'll obviously never forget about your first ever victory, but I'll never forget it either, man. And it's a core memory for me. I thought it was really cool because Denny was on your ass, like and like Denny's a
Oh
family
yeah.
friend, right? Like Denny was knocking on your door, and so like Travis is like,
Oh
"Yo,
yeah.
get their ass, Boone!" Like he's down on the infield. I'm pretty sure I announced that race in the infield because that was before RaceON or any of that kind of stuff. So I'm pretty sure I was announcing from
Right.
the infield that night. And I remember Travis being down there hooping and hollering and freaking out about you going to Victor Lane. But yeah, man, it's just so many cool memories we could really go on and hash about for hours, I'm sure. I want to circle back to the B mod stuff real quick. I talked to you when we started this podcast off. 423 starts since 2020 is just insane. But just since 2023, 24, and 25, just those 3 years, you had 227 starts. And in those 227 starts, when you have 32 wins in those years. And just for comparison, because I think a lot of people right now, and Cortland, I think you might agree, just for this general area for Arklatex B mods, right? I think we would put Cody Tupper 1A and Boone Evans 1B. Like right now, this is right now power rankings, right? Like the Williams twins are really fast, right? Colby and Connor are fast. Justin Collins just won Friday night down in Manny, right? You ran third to him, and Tupper got second. So I mean, he's throwing his hat into the ring. My point of this is this BMOD class is becoming very, very competitive. Every single week, it seems like we get new blood. There's new competition in here. I know you go to race the competition, but whenever you show up and you see that 23 at Cody Tupper, who has 179 starts in the same time period over these last 3 years, and he has 36 wins. He's got 4 more than you, but y'all are pretty much tight neck, like neck and neck here. Like when you show up, how bad do you want to beat that 23 car? Because like inside, like you want to be the best, right? Like how much does that drive you? And is that true or is it not?
No, man, it's definitely true. But man, me and Tupper, we're kind of we're buddies, man. But
Yeah.
dude, he's got that J2 race car going. And
Yes, he does.
he's hard to beat, man. He studies his craft, man, and he definitely knows he's definitely got it figured out. And what I always tell dad, like even we're at Manning, I was like, man, it's gonna be either me or that 23 up first, you know. And but Collins put it on us, man. We couldn't catch him. But usually you don't want to let that 23 get too far out in front of you because he's hard to catch, no doubt. And I think this BMOD class has grown a bunch. I think what we had like 23 or 24, I think the last time I was at Boot Hill. So it's definitely a fun class. And when you really want to get good, you know, the BMODs are kind of bigger up north, you know, maybe Missouri area and Oklahoma and all up through there. But if you want to get real fast, you go up there and race them too. And I've learned a lot racing all up north with them boys, especially going to Lucas Oil and that Wheatland, Missouri, man, it's a different animal. And racing them boys and those B mods, they've been doing it a long time. So it's kind of new down here in the South, but we're so equal and can put on a good show. I really hope it just keeps growing because I think it could be a big class down here for sure.
I was going to throw it back to Cortland, but I just wanted to add because you mentioned Wheatland. I was there last weekend. I think there was 65 B mods. Cortland was watching live on Racing Dirt as well. Of course, he was watching live RaceOn too. He had like 4 or 5 screens going. But I was at Lucas last weekend. Of course, we were both there for the USRA Nationals. How cool is that for you to win that race at Wheatland last year too? Like against that field, against that kind of competition, them B mods and the stock cars up there, right? Them Ironman stock cars. We talk about
Oh
our
yeah.
level of competition down here, our factories, and our B mods are getting there. I texted Cortland literally in the middle of the races last weekend at Lucas. I said, dude, as soon as we get our B mod level, our competition up to where these guys are, we're gonna be. It's
Be,
gonna be badass. Like they are.
it's
They
gonna be
really are on a
badass.
different level right now. Yeah, but we're almost there, right? Like we're working to that,
Yes,
right,
sir.
Boone? Like we're getting to that level.
Yeah. But it's kind of crazy because what I mean was this second year, maybe full year of B mods, and we're getting full
Right.
fields of it. So I don't think it's going to take too long for these architects drivers getting these B mods, and we're going to be put on a show, dude. It's gonna be definitely be good. But man, that Wheeling, Missouri, Lucas Oil, that's a different animal. You know, the first year I went up there just didn't do the best. I mean, we made the show, whatever, but it's just those guys are faster, man. And then last USRA Nationals, and to be the only IRP race car on the in the whole pits was pretty cool just to make the show, you know. And like I can't harp on Jason Ingles enough, man. He builds a fast race car, and I think it's really cool to be able to succeed in the car he builds. And man, like I said, that Lucas Oil, you go up there and really figure out where you sit in the BMOD program. But to be able to win one in the stock car up there, and really that track, like I said, such a different animal. You really need to race there every weekend to really figure it out because you can't hide on that track. It's a driver's track. It changes every single lap. It's the craziest race surface I ever raced on. And
Wow.
to win one in the stock car on Friday night for the big show was pretty neat, man. Just growing up and watching that place and watching all the Lucas Oil late model drivers. I remember on Sundays I'd turn MAV TV on as a kid and watch that place. So to win one there, dude, meant a bunch. So that was kind of a cool deal.
That's
You
badass.
talk about it meaning a lot, Boone. Would you consider that your biggest win, or what would you consider your biggest win?
Man, I don't know. That's a pretty big one to do on at Lucas Oil. Of course, last year cleaning up the winning both nights of the Cowboy Classic was a big win. Man, another big one is just really winning the Ray Ingles Memorial races 2 years in a row
Yeah.
was really really cool. Man, it's really not so much how much you get paid maybe for winning. It's more just what it means to you, working so
Yeah.
hard and stuff like that. So to win one at Lucas Oil and just to win races remotely kind of across the country is like just really really neat.
All right, I do got one off the wall here. Where are you at right now? Because that's a pretty sweet setup
I
behind you. You
I
got
was gonna
doors
ask.
and checks.
I was gonna ask
Where
the
are you
same
at? Like
thing.
I'm sitting here, like I'm listening to you. I heard everything you said. Trust me, but I keep on looking back there. You turned around. I'm like, man, that's a sweet looking shop. Where are you at right now?
That Ray Ingles check
Man,
is
I'm
right over his head. He just talked about that.
Yeah,
That
it
Ingles check
is.
is right over his head. Yeah.
dude, you wouldn't believe me, but I'm in my living room.
Come on back.
That's awesome.
I
Hey,
swear,
racing
dude. This
runs
is
deep. When you
yes,
got the
sir.
checks
Yes,
hung
sir.
up in the living room, racing runs deep.
Yeah,
Come
my
on
Yeah.
kit,
back.
my kitchen's right there. I got checks in the kitchen room, which or the my kitchen, which is kind of crazy, dude. I live in a little barn though, so my race cars kind of just sit out everywhere, and I live by myself, so I'm my own interior decorator, I guess. So I love racing so much, I hang it up in the living room. So I mean, where else we gonna put it? Screw it.
Dude, what a
It's a
G,
trip.
man. Hey, where's the
Yeah.
What a
women at
G.
though? You don't have one of them locking you down yet, or what?
Uh-oh.
Nah, I can't. I can't be doing none of that. I had to tell them that we had to do something at 8 o'clock tonight.
And it wasn't them.
Yep.
Oh man.
Nah, dude. I just race too much, man. I just I guess I love racing a bunch, and the love life kind of gets put aside sometimes.
That's
So
right.
let's go ahead and so are you single?
Oh yes, sir.
Well, look, ladies, he's a wheeler. He's not going to be here Thursday through Sunday. Count him out. But the man
Yeah.
is single and he can drive a race car. Applications are open. Open. You can send them to ZC. He'll approve of you and he'll send them to
Yep.
Boone. How about that? Look,
Yep.
Oh
Match.com right
yeah.
here on Clark After Dark. Come on back.
Yes,
Work around
sir.
my man's schedule. You got to work around my
Hey, you
man's
never
schedule, bro.
know.
Okay, you get it. You get in where you fit in around here. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
So
So
yeah.
I'm gonna throw another one off the wall here, and then I'll toss you back to Zach. All right. What is whenever you see that lineup sheet? What is one guy that you absolutely either hate to line up beside, or one guy that you absolutely love to know you're going to race against? And I'll give you an out, and not somebody you hate on, or you can go ahead and just throw it out there, throw all the dirty laundry out there. But when
Yeah.
you see
Be
that
honest.
lineup sheet, who's a guy that you really like? Man, I don't want to race against that cat, and one dude that you know that you can go out there and just race your absolute tails off with.
Man, that's a hard question. Racing
I
in
put him
so
on the
many
spot.
different classes. No, it's cool. Honestly, the one to love and hate would be Cody Tupper. If we're sitting on the front row, you gotta love racing him because me and him race hard together and never even touched each other. And he's fast enough to when he gets in his groove, he's gone. So just being the B mod, that would be one to definitely love and hate. So I really don't know how to answer that because in just racing so many different classes, there's a bunch of them, man. There's just so many fast race car drivers, and there's so many that like, oh, he might be a little wild starting in front of you, behind you,
Yeah.
or beside you. So that's definitely a tough one to answer.
One thing about that Cody Tupper, if you followed him any, his car is really good right in the center of racetrack. I don't know if you've ever noticed this as a driver. Maybe you followed him, but like a lot of times when you guys are up there banging the cushion, right, just trying to get the good out of your car, he's rolling right through the middle of the racetrack. I don't know. He's found a really good setup at Boot Hill. He's good at Vivian. He's also good at Texarkana, just rolling right through the center of the racetrack. I don't know. Do you notice that where he's just so stable? I don't even know what the point of that is. I'm just saying, like, his car is just really good through the middle of the racetrack.
Yeah, yes, sir. And I noticed that, like, man, I think that's just those J2 cars. My B mod I've been racing is just a mod that we turn into a B mod, but those J2s are built to be B mods. And what I really learned going up to Lucas, they're built right down the road. All them J2s just really good to the center up there. They're really good cars to run off momentum. Seems like they got a lot of traction, but they turn very well. and they're built to be B mods. They're not built to be a mod or, that, this, that, and the other. They're just, he's got it figured out. And when he can just kind of get in his groove, rolling through the center and keeping his momentum up, he's really hard to beat. And I think that's just having the technology of that car being, being an actual B mod. And of course, Chris Jackson's really fast in one, and kind of
Yeah.
made J2 what they are. So, and I think him and Tupper are real tight. So he's definitely got it figured out, man.
Absolutely. And, Chris Jackson's about to start building a new chassis. I talked to him at Lucas last week. He said he's going to start building OCD race cars. That'll be an interesting thing to keep note of or keep track of, right? I'm sure he'll sell. I'm sure he'll sell them out pretty quick, right? It'll be something to watch
Oh yeah,
for up there in the Midwest. Of course, he's the dominant runner up there, which is interesting because remember he won his prelim at Lucas last week at King of America in the B mod and didn't make it through the tech shed. And I don't know why I'm bringing that up here, but didn't actually start the feature. And that was a surprise. Like I thought he would still be there, but I don't know. There's been some stuff going on there with USRA and Chris Jackson for a little while, but hopefully that all gets
yeah.
figured out and we get to see him back racing, back to his usual self. Speaking of mods, limiteds, where do you see this class headed in the future? Right. And I don't know. I feel like you're the perfect person to ask this question to because you've raced in this class for several years in your career, right? What you really started your career in, outside of the few years or about the year in the beginner cruiser class. Where do you see this limited class going? And should we make the 69 of Derek Grigsby run with the B mods?
Man,
I'm just
this
fooling, but no,
limited class, I really think it's a great class, all
same.
around. I just, um, it was definitely huge back when I was younger, getting in one and racing a bunch and this, that, and the other. But man, it's kind of tough for all them boys over in the architects area to have limiteds when, that 69 he's so dominant. And man, I just don't. I really don't agree. That's why I really like racing Boot Hill and Architects and Sabine. I really don't agree that the B mods and the limiteds need to race together. I know the lap times are really really similar,
Mhm.
but man, like driving a B mod, you got to stay on the gas going in the corner, and these limiteds are more just wide open, hit the brakes, turn them, hammer them, go. And it's just we don't race the same. It's just I don't know. I never liked racing limiteds. It just more stuff got tore up, and like I said, the lap times may be similar, but I'm really glad they split us up. But I mean, we can go back to when Grigsby came to Rocket and we did the Cowbuck Classic. Me and him duked it out. I mean, lap for lap, and we never touched each other. Raced clean, raced hard, and he's got a fast hot rod, dude. It's just what really sucks too is also the racing surface. I mean, if it's hammered down kind of rough one night, that's of course going to be a limited track. They're going to get through the holes better. If it's slick, smooth, B mods are going to prevail because I mean we got better suspension. But I mean, then again, now we're giving the limiteds a 7-inch spoiler, and they're on a better tire, and they kind of got more motor. Um, I don't know what else we can give them to run with us. So I just really hope that a lot of these other tracks start splitting us up more. But that's why I do like to race Boot Hill Architects or or Sabine because we're all split up. We're racing with the class we're kind of supposed to be racing against. So I mean, I don't know. It's just it's a tough deal.
It is.
No, it is a very tough deal, and you described it really well when you talk about. I don't. You can show me the lap times all day long, and they may be dead even all night long. But at the end of the day, it is two different cars, like you mentioned. The limited's got to go in there, stomp and steer, right? Like they just stomp on the brakes, hope it turns left. Whereas like you guys can charge the corner a lot harder because you are at attitude and on the right front and can carry a little bit more speed through the corner. Now, obviously, the limiteds may have just straight away like drive, but yes, they are different. So I do love the way you laid that out there for everybody, for all the people that want to put them together. I understand some places still got to because maybe they don't have enough to split them, but yes, they should be separate. And I think you can agree with that. I'm going to throw you another one off the wall. All right, you just finished race night. You won. What's Big Dog throwing down on the grill? What's your favorite post race meal?
Dude, I ain't even gonna lie to you. I mean, good old hot dog in the air fryer, dude. Throw some cheese on that thing, and maybe a cold natty or Bush Light to wash it down. That's usually what it is. I mean, especially if we win one, we're definitely partaking in either some cold Bush or natty, and then we get usually sometimes in the toter home. Hopefully, Mama's got us some hot dogs and some stuff ready to eat, especially if we at Boot Hill, Rilo and Bubba and them, they like to throw down. So we might stay up a little too late and and get overserved and then want to eat some hot dogs or boudin. We like that boudin too. Boudin
Yeah.
or hot dogs are about my favorite.
Yeah.
All right, so you talk about hanging out after the races, of course, Bubba and Rilo. If you go to Boot Hill Speedway after the races, you can definitely hang out with Bubba and Rilo. Just go to the fuel shed, you'll find somebody. But what's somebody kind of that you see maybe 3 or 4 times a year that's like your favorite person to hang out with at the racetrack, right? Like we all love everybody in the pit area. We're all one big family. But what's some people that you generally do enjoy hanging out with at post race festivities on like a 2 or 3 day weekend?
Man, I like seeing that Cody King. Every once in a while we'll
Yeah.
see him up there and
The
like
homie.
in Oklahoma and stuff. He likes to party. He's got that little
Yeah.
moped he rides around on. He likes to throw down. Of course, Muirheads, Gregory, and all them. I mean, I
Yeah.
see them a bunch, but they like to throw down. They're definitely fun to hang
Oh,
out
yeah.
with after the races, and of course, all my buddies in Kansas that I got to know when I was up there playing baseball. And
Yeah, I know. When we talk about how cool your dad is, like your mom's pretty damn cool too, man. Like I always love seeing your mom too. Like she's as supportive as she could be, man. Like she has always been right there. Your right hand, not right hand man, but right hand woman, right at the races. It's pretty cool to have your mom there too to be so supportive. I'm sure.
oh, dude, she's a trooper, dude. She don't miss a race, and she's just as nervous at every single one of them. So props to her to putting up with me and my dad. Really, it's probably a lot to deal with, especially racing and stuff. And I don't know how she dealt with him back in the day when he was racing so much and taking care of me. Really, when I was a baby, Dad would go off racing kind of by himself, and man, she's a trooper. She loves it just as much as we do. So it really helps out a lot because it's just family thing. We don't know nothing else different. I mean, it's all we know is dirt track racing, and that's what we love.
This might be a silly question to ask since we have a 30,000 to win stock or factory stock race coming up and literally it starts in 1 month from today. Literally practice night is May the 5th. That's 1 month from today. So for 1 month from now, we'll be at Boot Hill ripping and roaring around there in practice night. But my question to you is what race do you most want to win? That's left out there. I'm sure this 30K is on your radar right now, right? Because it's right here and it's coming up close. But I mean, maybe outside of that one, but I mean, you could mention that one. But what race would you most want to win?
Yeah, I mean, no doubt, everybody wants to win that 30 grand. But really, I think it'd be really neat just to win one of them all star races because every single one of them
Yeah.
pays. They pay good, and it really wouldn't matter where. I think it'd be really neat for me and Jason Hood and and his wife Tanya. She helps us out a bunch too. I mean, it takes a whole crew just to get these race cars going around in circles. So I think just winning one of those this year would be like really neat, man. I think it'd be cool.
All right, Boone, I'm gonna ask you something again. I'm kind of the off the wall guy. Zach's a little bit more clean cut professional. What's
Well,
something
come on.
that you do behind the wheel that I mean just something random that you think race fans have no idea, right? Like I mean, you're racing, you're pulling tear offs, your racecraft, everything that goes through your head, like how much you're processing. What's something behind from a driver's point of view that you know of or do that a race fan would have no idea about? Like how do you analyze a track while you're racing? The fact that I mean literally like you're one of the best. Zach said it, and I'll come out and say it as well. Your racecraft and everything has grown so much. So like while you're out there racing, like people don't understand, you're going into the corner 80 miles an hour. You're trying to hit this point while watching the track change, while worried about a guy's beside you. And I maybe just listed everything that you could possibly list, and I maybe just took your answer away from you. But what's something that the race fans they just have no idea about the part of the driving aspect that you would say?
Man, the hardest thing about dirt track racing is really just being consistent. Man, your lap times need to be, just it's really hard, like you said, going that fast into them turns. And what I try and do is almost just mark a spot on the track, or just know like, oh, okay, you go in turn 1 and 2, and dang, that felt really good. I need to mock that. I need to enter in the same spot. I need to enter higher or lower. Or, oh, I just pushed or hit a hole. Like, it's so hard from lap to lap to not just remember that, but just stay focused enough to be consistent. Because if you can be consistent, then I think you can win a lot more races. And it's just that's really tough when you're wide open, and especially when you're beside somebody trying to beat them to a corner or something else like that. Sometimes you can get out of control. But just being consistent, I think. Like I said, I just try and mark a spot on the track of kind of, oh wait, I need to enter there, or maybe a groove higher, or just it depends a lot on the track conditions too. But that's what I love about dirt track racing. It changes every lap. So I think that's why a lot of NASCAR asphalt racers succeed coming from dirt, because it's just the track changes so much, and you got to be able to read it. And sometimes you can find something on the bottom that works for you, and be good, or the top comes in later, or it's just so many different things that go in effect. It's just really tough.
So I got to ask you, you talk about running around that bottom, putting them left sides in the brown or up there on the cushion. Where's Boone? Where does Boone like to rip at? I kind of got a feeling I know, but when Boone Evans rolls up to a track, does he love to see a 2-foot curb up there? Or does he love to see that them tractor tires are flooded at the start of the night, knowing it's going to be there at the end?
Man, I think ripping the lips definitely easier. I definitely like getting up there and just gassing on it, being up by the wall and hammering down. But man, there's a craft to running the bottom. And my dad's taught me throughout the years. He always tells me, son, if you can ever figure out how to run that bottom, you'll win a lot more races. Because I always want to maybe get up on the lip, but there's definitely a craft to running the bottom, especially if it slicks off. You gotta be really disciplined. Can't run in the corner too hard. And it's just it's a craft. And I don't know though, but if there's a cushion, I definitely like get up there and let it rip.
Man, you've
Get the
ran
honk
Sabine.
on her a little bit.
Yeah. Man, you've ran Sabine a couple of times this year. Man, it's been cool to see you travel down there. I would imagine, are you still in Bullard? Are you in Bullard, Texas still?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We still live in Bullard.
Bullard, Texas. So that's a pretty good trip down to Sabine. But I mean, I know you've made it. It's just like a hopscotch, skip, and a jump. But like, as far as the travel to racetracks, though, like there's a few that I just don't like driving to because the drive there sucks. Like, when you go through Converse, you're gonna go through a spot where the cops are radaring, right? Like, and sometimes you're running late, right? You got the rig behind you, like you're trying to get there, and you're trying not to speed. But anyway, like the drive to Chatham, not necessarily everybody's favorite either. What is the track that like you just hate go? Like you love probably racing the racetrack, but damn it, the drive there just sucks. You know?
Man, what kind of sucks is where we're at is pretty much everywhere you go, it's gonna be about 2 hours. I mean, Dallas 2 hours. I mean, Sabine, that's a good 2.5. And I'm not gonna lie, the last couple Fridays, that's a pretty tough one. And even Rocket, that's 2.5 hours, and that's kind of a rough one too. Boot Hill's not so bad 'cause you can hit 20 and kind of roll down there, but it's still 2 hours. Greenville might be kind of the closest. It's an hour and 50, and it's not the best drive either. But just everywhere we kind of got to go is at least 2 hours. And but I guess we're used to it at this point. And but the worst one, man, I'd say it either between Rocket or going down there to Manny. Those are two long hauls that you don't ever know if you're going to get there.
Well, I've got a new one for you right here. It's 2 hours and 38 minutes from Bullard, Texas to Texarkana 67 Speedway. I don't see you at Texarkana enough. And I know they run the B mods and the limited together. And you just kind of told us how you feel about that. But I know you're a racer. You'll race anytime, any place, anytime, anywhere, any day because you're Boone Evans and that's what you do, son, right? You're a racer. to the bone. But when we gonna see you up there in at Texarkana, man? When you gonna come and try to chop some wood up there in Mandeville, Arkansas? Hey,
Man,
and
I
before
don't know.
Shane
That's like I
Abair
said.
hears
That's
this,
a
I'm not trying to pull you away from Manny. Like maybe
no.
maybe one night
I
when
know
they're not
because
running.
yeah, no, for sure. And we went up there last year. I think we took the
Right.
factory in Beaumont, did pretty
That's
good.
right.
Um, I like the racetrack. I'm not gonna lie, but it is a 2.5 hour drive, and it's a pretty rough one too. But what kind of sucks is I know that 23 is gonna be up there trying to win the points, and I guess we're leading the points at Sabine right now. So I think me and him are just got to part ways. And man, I like what Shane Airbear's doing with Manny. It's been building a cushion, but man, that old racetrack, I've always kind of enjoyed it. It's a driver's racetrack. It's old
Yeah.
and it's got that red dirt and it's kind of can get racy. So I don't know. I really like that place down there, and I just like racing Louisiana a bunch because you're always gonna race the best.
Hmm.
And it's a fun little racetrack.
It is
Hey,
badass
I've
little place.
said it. Sabine's that hidden gem. I've said it. I'm just
It
letting
is.
you know. Sabine's that place. And I know my boy Boone's gonna roll in for the Darty Smith Memorial. Details will get out about
Oh
that,
yeah.
but B Mods will be paying good. I know he'll roll in for that. Boone, you talk about all these long drives, all right? I know you make treks. Obviously, it's not as long as going to Lucas Oil Speedway as you have before going elsewhere you've ever been. But what you playing in the rig? What's that playlist look like for you and Big Dog when y'all super trucking?
Man, we just want to go where we want to go and race the best. Man, we getting our rig and we just roll. We really enjoyed going up Missouri. We've been all about to Arizona and I mean we've been all over the place. I can't even
Talking
name
about
all
the
the states
tune.
where I've been to.
Oh yeah,
What
what
tunes are
music
you
y'all
listening
playing?
to?
What
Oh, the
music you
tunes.
playing? What
Yeah,
music?
what
Yeah,
kind of
my
music
bad.
you
I said
jamming
yeah.
to?
What music you jamming
My
to?
bad. I didn't mean to cut you off, but
Oh, cause no,
yeah,
Dad's old school. We always listen to the
yeah,
radio, especially when we start getting out of town. Then the static starts playing. I'm like, I don't know if he's so old he can't hear it or what, but I'm trying to tune in another radio station because he hadn't figured out this Bluetooth stuff yet. I'm
yeah,
like, dude, we can just listen whatever we want.
yeah.
But
Man,
usually it's that
hey,
rock and roll, man.
Yeah.
one thing
Rock and
I've
roll.
noticed about you, man, is you still got your sleeves on. You know what I mean? Like Rollo and Travis, like they're sleeveless, cuz like it don't really matter what time or month of the year, but you haven't adopted the old no sleeves. It looks like is yet, not full time anyway.
Well, I can't. I had to go. I had to go to work today. So at
Yeah,
work, we gotta wear sleeves. Trust me, Big Dog. He was wearing some sleeves today too. When we're at work, we gotta wear them sleeves. But if it's Friday and Saturday at the racetrack, we ain't gonna have them sleeves on usually.
I don't want to get too personal, and you don't have to tell us if you don't want. But where do you work, Boone? I think a lot of people are interested. Like a lot of people fail to realize, like, yeah,
Yeah.
you've raced 423 times since 2020, but you race because you work, right? Like you work your ass off, I'd imagine, and then you work your ass off behind the wheel of your race car throughout the weekend, right? That's something you're passionate about, you love to do. But what do you do that supplies this hobby for you?
Man, we got an air conditioning company, Four Season Heat and
Yeah.
Air. We've been in
Yep.
business for I want to say 34 years or whatever since 1993. Dad started it when he was real young. Just took a gamble on starting an air conditioning company, and stuff started working out. And we've been really successful, and we've been really grateful, man. We
Awesome.
have a great crew. We have a great crew of employees and everybody that works for us. Like I said, we've been in business a long time, and so all we ever know is installing air conditioners, and it's been grateful to us, man. So like today, we put in an air conditioner today, and then I was like, man, I gotta get home and get on this podcast and stuff. So we really try and bust it during the week so that we can kind of take off them half days on Fridays and go race and stuff. But like I said, we got such a good crew that works for us. They can kind of pick up the slacks at times and on them Fridays and really take care of business while we might not be there. So we've been really grateful for that.
So you talk about your work. All right, I got it off the wall one here. What do you hate more, having to climb up and install an AC in the attic and when it's 110
Yeah.
degrees, or you have to, or you're sitting in the staging lane suited up and some factory stocks or whatever race ahead of you can't get it figured out, and you're sitting there in the staging lane when it's 110? Which one do you hate more?
Man, being 110 in the Maddox, it's definitely a lot hotter than that inside the Maddox. So I mean, I'm not gonna say I hate it because it pays the bills,
Hey,
but it definitely will suck being pretty hot in the Maddox at times. So I'd definitely rather be in that race car strapped in because at least I got a little bit of adrenaline going and knowing doing something I love.
Do,
Yeah.
do you think that may help you in the hotter months? Because I know people never think about racing as the most physical sport in the world, right? But at the end of the day, there's going to be a part at sometime this year that we're going to go racing at 7 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's going to be a day that it's 110 degrees, and it's something that you are completely normal with, right? Like it's a normalcy to you to be out there in the heat. Do you think that actually gives you an advantage, or is that just something that, like you said, all racers get in and the adrenaline's going, and it just is what it is?
No, I actually do think it is an advantage because really racing and being in your fire suit and everything and it being hot in the summer months, it racing and being that warm really don't bother me because sometimes we'll get in the Maddox, they can be 140, 150 degrees. So really being in them race cars ain't really that bad for me. So it's kind of crazy because keep me in shape.
I've got a good question for you to wrap this thing up tonight. All right. I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit. And I'll let you can answer a couple if you'd like, if it makes you feel more comfortable. But the question is who is the greatest dirt track racer from the state of Texas? Who is the greatest dirt track racer from the state of Texas? And you can mention a couple. I don't necessarily have to put you on the dial here. You can even say your dad, right?
Dang.
Because we can be a little biased, right? You can be biased and say your
Yeah.
dad, right? He's won 2 TMS World Dirt Track Championships. Like, Travis was a dog. I think a lot of people forget. Remember that Texas Longhorns car? That thing was gangster, dude. Like, that was one of the baddest ass looking cars of all time. And I'm not a Texas Longhorns fan, but that thing was ripping. It was pretty good.
Right.
But who's the greatest?
Man, I will say the greatest. God,
I
that's I don't even know. That's really hard to say.
put you on the spot for sure. And I don't want
No,
to set
I
you up for
know. Like
failure.
I said, no, you good. I don't even really know. I like I said, Dad was good back in the day. Of course,
I
in
forget how
'09,
young
like
you
you said,
are.
that Longhorn card.
You're young, like, you're 25,
That
but I think that you would wanna say, like, you're if you had more time to think about it, and I'm not trying to make you say this answer, but I feel like when I say it, you're gonna like, the light bulb's gonna go, "Oh, shit." Doug Ingles, maybe, like, that's one right there, but you
no,
never
no,
got to
no.
see
That's what
the
I
thing
was.
about it is, you never got to
No,
see Doug race, though. That's my whole point is, like,
Yeah.
your era of who you consider to be the greatest might be different from what Zach Clark or Cortland Smith considers to be the greatest because you probably didn't
right,
get to see Doug race a lot, right? You probably saw Jason race way more than you ever saw Doug race because you probably never even saw Doug race, right?
right. No, no, sir, I didn't. But I actually was trying to get back to the Ingalls family. Like, really,
Yeah.
what they've done just for the architects area and racing's been really crazy. And like you bring up that Longhorn car, that was one of the very first cars that Jason ever built, IRP. And when they
Yeah.
left in '09 and Dad left he won the Texas Motor State Championship deal or whatever at Texas Motor Speedway. I think that car never even left the track with them. I think some dude he bought it and took it home with him, and I think Jason had like 12 or 14 on order. So then IRP just kind of blew up, from
Yeah.
there. And so that's kind of one reason I gotta always go with Jason, man. He takes us. They're like family, and I just think the Ingles family alone, what they've done just for dirt track racing in Texas is has been great. So to put a name for to be the best. I don't even know. I can't even come up with one to be honest with you.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot and set you up there because, man,
Nah,
I
you
could list,
good.
quite a few, but I think your youth, like you still have some more time. Like I think we need to ask you this question in 10 more years or, a little bit more time for you. Cause like right now you're just focused on racing. Like, I don't even think you really care too much. Like, do you watch the races when you go, when you're not racing, when you're at the track? We're going to wrap this thing up here in just a second, but that'll be my final question is when you're at the track, like when you're not in the car, do you walk up and watch the other races as the night's going on to kind of see what the track's doing or what?
As much as I can because, man, that's everything. Just watching that race track. Really, yeah, it gets tough, especially if I'm driving multiple cars. Some nights, but I always try and make an effort to go up there and watch at least like, especially like a factory stock race or anything. 'Cause any class I know that's going to change the track a bunch, just to try and get set up for a feature or heat race or B main or whatever. It's definitely really, really important to watch that racetrack. And I try to as much as I can, but we stay busy.
Absolutely. Man, before we get this thing out of here, and I'll let Cortland if he has any additional words that he'd like to say, but at this point, I'd like to give you the floor, man. And man, you can thank anybody you want to thank that helps you out in your racing program. It could be mom, dad, any of your sponsors, or any help, and you can go back all the way to the beginning, man. Just give you the floor to thank anybody that's helped you get your career where it's at right now.
Yeah, man. Man, thank y'all for having me on. For real. This has been cool. But I can't thank my mom and dad, Jason and Tanya Hood, give me a chance to drive his factory stock. Four Seasons Heat and Air, Big Dogs Auto Sales, 4E Cattle Co., Lone Star Super Gas, David Hood Construction, Jason Hood Consultant, Roscoe at Dunn's Transmissions, Bilstein Shocks, Landrum Springs, Muirhead Motorsports. Man, there's a bunch of people that I'm just trying to remember that just make all this happen. And of course, all of our guys at work and our crew and everything that make it all possible for me to be able to go and kind of skip out maybe on a Friday and go work or go race and whatnot, and they can kind of handle work. Just a lot of people that takes to make these race cars go in circles, man. It's just I'm really grateful.
To wrap this thing up, man, coming from a guy who called your very first ever win at Timberline in 2014 and a guy who's called a bunch of your races over the years, to watch your progression and you're just pushing the progression to where you've got now in your career. I truly mean it when we say that we're proud of you, man. I know Cortland feels the same way. Like we truly enjoy watching you race, man. Like you are a riot to watch race. Like we know when Boone Evans shows up that you're going to give everything you've got, and that whoever is up front, he's not going to be sitting comfortable because the 4 car's coming. And that, as far as a fan's perspective, that's all we can ask of you drivers, is that y'all understand your assignment, and you've always understood the assignment from the very first time you ever sat behind the wheel of a beginner cruiser back in 2013. Really proud of you and where you're at, man. We appreciate your time tonight. You were awesome. I mean, you've always been a good
Yeah.
interview at the racetrack, but having you in this scenario, man, you were awesome tonight, dude. We really do appreciate your time, dude, and we're really proud of you. And go out there and keep kicking ass, man, because you're making a lot of people proud, whether you realize it or not, man. And Cortland, if you have anything else you'd like to throw at him here before we wrap this up.
I just want to say, man, like reiterate everything Zach said, but Boone, old big dog, your mom, everybody, I
Yeah,
absolutely love going by and seeing y'all in the pit area. Zach's not blowing smoke up nobody's tail when he talks about y'all,
yeah.
man. Y'all really are a joy to see. And, it brings a joy to me. This whole sport of racing is father and sons, right? Or some shape or fashion, you had some father figure get you in this sport, right? And when I see you and Big Dog on it there, it brings good feelings to me, because I think about me and my dad racing as well, and the same conversation y'all were having about your dad's over there, man. He's like, I'm done for the night. I done did all my work. That's the same thing that me and my dad would do, right? So like it brings a joy to come by, man. And Boone, never change who you are, man, because you're a heck of a racer and a really cool dude to hang out with, man. And I'm glad to see our relationship has grown over the years and whatnot. I'm glad you came on, man. You were awesome. And good luck the rest of the year, my friend. I'll be excited to see you at a track. And like Zach said, whenever that 4-car rolls on the speedway, you better keep an eye on it, or at least one of them, because there's going to be some type of action going down.
No doubt about it, folks. There
Right?
he is, the
Yes, sir. Yeah.
25-year-old. Oh, my bad, Boone. I didn't mean to step on you there. But man, thank you for coming on tonight, dude. You're the man. That's Boone Evans, 25-year-old racer out of Bullard, Texas. He'll be getting after it this weekend. I believe he'll be at the. Are you going to Boot Hill Saturday? What's the plans? Hell, we had you on for an hour to even ask you where you're racing this weekend. What's wrong with us? What's wrong with us?
No, I know. I hadn't gotten that far.
I
I
got
don't
you.
know where we're going to
That's
end up
always a
racing this
surprise.
weekend. It's sometimes always a Friday decision. But man, thank
Yeah.
y'all. I can't thank y'all enough, man. This has been fun for sure.
We try to shoot for it, man. If we ain't having fun, then we ain't having fun, right? That's all there is to it. Thanks a lot, Boone Evans. On behalf of everybody here at Clark After Dark, our great producer, Cody Woot, we appreciate him. He's Cortland Smith. I'm Zach Clark. Everybody be blessed and be a blessing. We'll see you at a dirt track this weekend.
Later.